I have a little shadow that goes in and out with me, and what can be the use of him is more than I can see. He is very, very like me from his heels up to his head, and I see him jump before me when I jump into my bed. The funniest thing about him is the way he likes to grow, not at all like proper children, which is always very slow. For he sometimes shoots a taller than an Indian mother bud, and he sometimes gets so little that there's none of him at all. He hasn't got a notion of how children ought to play, and can only make a fool of me in every sort of way. He stays so close beside me, he's a coward you can see. I think shame to stick to nursing as that shadow sticks to me. One morning very early, before the sun was up, I rose to find the shining dew on every buttercup. But that lazy little shadow, like an errant sleepy head, had stayed at home behind me and was fast asleep in bed.
This monologue is from the script of Death of a Salesman. It's the play by Arthur Miller that won the coveted Pulitzer Prize for Drama in 1949. Willie Loman is a 63-year-old salesman who's seen better days. The monologue has the muttering, rambling, discontented, failing, worn-out Brooklyn salesman living in fantasy near the end of his days. Willie's in conversation with his boss, Howard Wagner. Willie is distraught. He is at the end of a less than illustrious career. Sure, business is definitely business, but just listen for a minute. You don't understand this. When I was a boy, 18, 19, I was already on the road. And there was a questioning in my mind as to whether selling had a future for me, because in those days, I had a yearning to go to Alaska. And I was almost decided to go when I met a salesman in Parker House, Chicago. His name was Dave Singleton. And he was 84 years old, and he drummed merchandise in 31 states. And old Dave, he'd come up to his room, you understand, and put on his green velvet slippers. I'll never forget. And picked up his phone and called the buyers, and without ever leaving his room at the age of 84, he made his living. And when I say that, I realized that selling was the greatest career a man could ever have. Because what would be more satisfying to be able to go at the age of 84 into 20, 30 different cities and pick up a phone and be remembered and loved and helped by so many different people, you know? When he died, and by the way, he died the death of a salesman. Hundreds of salesmen and buyers were at his funeral, and things were really sad on a lot of trains for months after that. You see, in those days, there was personality in it, Howard. There was respect and comradeship and gratitude. Today, it's all cut and dried. There's no chance for bringing friendship to bear, or personality. You see what I mean? They don't know me anymore.
The following is a story that was told by the late Joe Parham 6 or 7 years ago, and is still making the rounds. One fine Carolina evening, a Mrs. George Wood now deceased, called Dr. Marvin Statterfield, a veterinarian, from her home in Shawn County. It was about her mule, Horace. She was upset and said, "Doctor, Horace is sick, and I wish you would come out and take a look at him." The sun was setting, but there was still plenty of daylight to see by. Dr. Statterfield said, "Oh, Fanny Lamb, it's after 6, and I'm eating supper. Give him a dose of mineral oil, and if that isn't all right, if he isn't all right by morning, phone me, and I'll come take a look at him." She wanted to know how to give the mule the mineral oil, and the doctor said it should be through a funnel. Mrs. Wood protected that the mule might bite her, and Dr. Statterfield, a bit exasperated, said, "You're a farm woman, and you know about these things, Fanny Lamb. Give it to him in the other end." Fanny Lamb went down to the barn, and there stood Horace, moaning and groaning and banging his head. He certainly looked sick. She searched for a funnel, but the nearest thing she could find was Uncle Bill's fox hunting horn, hanging on the wall of the barn. This was a beautiful gold-plated instrument with silver tassels. She took the horn and nervously affixed it properly. Horace paid no attention, and she was much encouraged. Then she reached up on the shelf where the medicines for the farm animals were kept. Instead of picking up the mineral oil, she grabbed a bottle of turpentine and poured a liberal dose into the horn. Horace raised his head with a sudden jerk, stood dead still for maybe 3 seconds. Then he let out a squeal that could be heard a mile down the road. He reared up his hind legs, brought his forelegs down, knocked out the side of the barn, cleared a 5-foot fence, and started down the road at a mad gallop. Since Horace was in pain, every few steps he made, the horn would blow. All the hound dogs in the neighborhood knew that when the horn was blowing, it meant that Uncle Bill was going fox hunting. So out on the road they went, following closely behind Horace the Mule. People who witnessed the chase said it was one of the most unforgettable experiences they had ever had. First, Horace running at top speed, and the horn in his most tosses waving, and the dogs barking joyously. They passed the home of old man Harvey Hogan, who was sitting on his front porch. It was said that Mr. Hogan had not drawn a sober breath in 16 years. He gazed in fascination at the sight which unfolded before his eyes. He couldn't believe what he was seeing. Incidentally, old man Harvey Hogan is said now to be the head of the Alcohol Anonymous. By this time it was good and dark, and Horace and the dogs were coming into the inland waterway. The bridge tender heard this horn blowing. He hurriedly went out and cranked up the bridge. Horace went kerplunk into the water and unfortunately drowned. The pack of the dogs also went into the water, but they all swam out without much difficulty. What makes the story doubly interesting is that the bridge tender was also the sheriff of Shawn County and was running for re-election. He managed to get only 7 votes, and those were from kinfolks. Those who took the trouble to analyze the election of votes said the people there figured that the man who didn't know the difference between a mule with a horn up his caboose and a boat coming down the inland waterways wasn't fit to hold a public office in the county.
'Twas brillig and the slightest stones did gyre and gimble in the way. All mimsy were the barrow groves and the mummy grass outgrave. Beware the Jabberwock, my son, the jaws that bite, the claws that catch, Beware the jug bird, and shun the broomish bandersnatch. He took his vorpal sword in hand. Long time the Maxome foe he sought. Then rested he by the tum-tum tree and stood a while in thought. And as in uffish thought he stood, the Jabberwock, with eyes of flame, came whistling through the toggy wood and burgled as it came. 1, 2, 1, 2, and through, his vorpal blade went sticker-snack. He left it dead, and with its head he went galumphing back. Hast thou slain the Jabberwock? Come to my arms, my beamish boy. Oh, famous day, Kalinchkalay, he chortled in his joy. 'Twas brillig, and the slightest doze did gyre and gimble in the way. All mimsy were the bear crows, and the moneyed wave outgrave.
Aggravated. And my son sits right down here. Well then, how can you say such a thing? I want you to get married. How many times do I have to tell you, I want you to get married? Only this morning I was saying to your father, I said, Seximus, I want that boy to get married. It just isn't normal for a boy that age to stay single. After all, he is a prince. Don't forget that, and he's the next in line for the throne. I mean, we're not exactly the oldest people in the world, but on the other hand, we're not getting any younger. And you know, I would just feel much better, much easier, and much more relaxed in my mind if I knew that that boy were married, settled, and set. And that's absolutely verbatim what I said to your father this morning. Of course, he didn't say anything, he never does. But you know him just as well as I do. And I don't have to tell you how impossible he is. If he makes me miserable and makes me suffer, then I'll just have to put up with it. But I will not allow it to affect my son's attitude toward him or me. He may be a mean, stupid, dreadful, selfish, rotten man, but he is your father, and you must respect him. After all, there is only one person who really cares about you and really worries about your health, your happiness, and your future. And that's exactly what we're talking about, your future. And I want to make myself absolutely clear that I want you to get married. But I don't want you to marry just anyone. Marriage is a lifetime partnership. And I wouldn't want my little boy to make the same mistake I did and be miserable the way I am. You are a prince, and you must marry someone suitable. Someone who's good enough, smart enough, and fine enough for my good, nice little baby boy. And of course, she has to be a princess. I mean a real princess. A genuine, bona fide princess. Just as I was. And that is what you want, isn't it? Someone just like me? Of course you do. Oh God, if I were only 30 years younger. Just remember this. You must trust me.
When Grandma opened it, she saw the sharp white teeth, the horrid grin, and Wolfie said,
May I come in?
Poor Grandma was terrified. He's going to eat me up! And she was absolutely right. He ate her up in one big bite. But Grandmama was small and tough, and Wolfie wailed,
That's not enough. I haven't yet begun to feel that I have had a decent meal.
He ran around the kitchen yelping,
I've got to have a second helping.
then added with a frightful leer,
I'm going to wait right here till little Miss Red Riding Hood comes home from walking in the wood.
He quickly put on Grandma's clothes. Of course, he hadn't eaten those. He dressed himself in coat and hat. He put in shoes, and after that he even brushed and curled his hair. Then sat himself in Grandma's chair. In came the little girl in red. She stopped. She stared. And then she said,
What great big ears you have, Grandma.
All the better to hear you with.
the wolf replied,
What great big eyes you have, Grandma.
said Little Red Riding Hood.
All the better to see you with.
The wolf replied. He sat there watching her and smiled. He thought,
I'm going to eat this child. Compared with her old grandmama, she's going to taste like caviar.
and Little Red Riding Hood said,
But Grandma, what a lovely, great, big, furry coat you have on.
That's wrong.
cried Wolf.
Have you forgot to tell me what big teeth I've got? Well, no matter what you say, I'm going to eat you anyway.
The small girl smiles. One eyelid flickers. She whips the pistol from her knickers. She aims it at the creature's head and bang, bang, bang. She shoots him dead. A few weeks later,
But what a change! No cloak of red, no silly hood upon her head, she said.
Hello, and do please note my lovely, furry, wolfskin coat.
By Stan Freeberg, that combines the tale of St. George and the Dragon with the popular 1950 radio TV series Dragnet. Since we don't have any sound effects for this, you all are my sound effects. Okay? If I hold up one hand, it's going to be dum da dum dum. You want to try that?
Dum, dum, dum.
If I hold up two hands, it's going to be dum da dum dum dum. Let's try it.
Dum, 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 dum.
Good. Take it away. The legend you are about to hear is true. Only the needle should be changed to protect the record.
Dum, 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 dum.
This is the countryside. My name is St. George. I'm a knight. Saturday, July 10th, 8:05 p.m., I was working out of the castle on the night watch when a call came in from the chief. A dragon had been devouring maidens. Homicide. My job, slay it.
Dum, dum, dum.
You call me chief?
Yes, the dragon again, devouring maidens. The king's daughter may be next.
You got a lead?
Ain't nothing much to go on. Say, did you take that 45 automatic into the lab to have them check on it?
Yeah, you were right.
I was right?
Yeah, it was a gun. 8:22. I talked to one of the maidens who had almost been devoured. Could I talk to you, ma'am?
Who are you?
I'm St. George, ma'am. Homicide, ma'am. I want to ask you a few questions, ma'am. I understand that you were almost devoured by the dragon. Is that right, ma'am?
It was terrible. He breathed fire on me. He burned me already.
How can I be sure of that, ma'am?
Believe me, I got it right straight from the dragon's mouth.
11:45 p.m. I rode over to the King's Highway. I saw a man. I stopped to talk to him. Pardon me, sir. Could I talk to you for just a minute, sir?
Sure, I don't mind.
What do you do for a living?
I'm a knave.
Didn't they pick you up on a 903 last year for stealing tarts?
Yeah. So, what do you want to make a big deal out of it?
No, sir. We heard there was a dragon operating in this neighborhood. We just wanted to know if you've seen him.
Sure, I've seen him.
Could you describe him for me?
What's to describe? You see one dragon, you see them all.
Would you try and remember, sir? Just for the record. We just want to get the facts, sir.
Well, he was, you know, he had orange polka dots,
Yes, sir.
purple feet, breathing fire and smoke, and one big bloodshot eye right in the middle of the forehead, like that.
Notice anything unusual about him?
No, he's just the run-of-the-mill dragon, you know.
Yes, sir. You can go now.
Hey, by the way, how are you going to catch him?
I thought you never asked. A dragon net. 3:05 p.m. I was riding back to the courtyard to make my report to the lab. Then it happened. It was the dragon.
Hey, I'm the fire-breathing dragon. You must be St. George, right?
Yes, sir.
I see you got one of those new 45 caliber swords.
That's about the size of it.
Wow, you slay me.
That's what I came here to talk to you about.
What do you mean?
I'm taking you in on a 502. You figure it out.
What's the charge?
Devouring maidens out of season.
Out of season, you'll never pin that rap on me. Do you hear me, cop?
Yeah, I hear you. I got you on a 412, too.
412? What's a 412?
Overacting. Let's go.
On September the 5th, the dragon was tried and convicted. His fire was put out, and his maiden devouring license revoked. The law must be working. No maidens have been devoured by dragons in 300 years.
Well, Costello, I'm going to New York with you. You know Bucky Harris, the Yanks manager, gave me a job as coach for as long as you're on the team.
Look at it. If you know the coach, you must know all the players.
Right, I certainly do.
Well, I never met the guys, so you have to tell me who their names are, and then I'll know who's playing on the team.
That's what I came here to find out. I say, who's on first? What's on second? I don't know who's on third.
Are you the manager?
Yep.
You're going to be the coach too,
Yes?
and you don't know the fellow's names.
Well, I should.
Well, then who's on first?
Yes.
I mean the fellow's name.
Who?
The guy on first.
Who?
The first baseman.
Who?
The guy playing first base.
Who is on first?
I'm asking you who's on first.
Yes.
That's whose name?
Who?
Well, go ahead and tell me.
The guy on first.
That's who?
That's right. The first baseman.
Look, you got a first baseman?
Yes.
Who's playing first?
Right.
When you pay off the first baseman every month, who gets the money?
Every dollar of it.
Trying to find out the fella's name on first base.
Who?
The guy that gets the money.
That's it.
Who gets the money on first base?
He does. Every dollar. Sometimes his wife comes down and collects it.
Who's playing?
Yes. What's wrong with that?
Look, all I want to know is when the guy signs up as a first baseman, how do he sign his name to the contract?
Who?
The guy.
Who?
How does he sign it?
That's how he signs it.
Who?
Yes.
Oh, I'm trying to find out what the guy's name on first base.
No, what's on second base?
I'm not asking about second base.
Who is on first?
One base at a time.
Well, don't change the players around.
I'm not changing nobody.
Take it easy, buddy.
All I'm asking you, who's the guy on first base?
That's right.
Okay.
Right.
What's the guy's name on first base?
No, what is on second?
I'm not asking you who's on second.
Who's on first?
I don't know.
Oh, he's on third. We're not talking about him. Let's get back to first.
How did I get on third base?
Well, you mentioned his name.
If I mention the third baseman's name, then who did I say was playing third?
No. Who is playing first?
What's on first?
What's on second?
I don't know.
He's on third.
There I go, back to third again. We just stay on third base and don't go off at it.
All right. What do you want to know?
Now, who's playing third base?
Why do you insist on putting who on third base?
What am I putting on third?
No, what is on second?
You don't want who's on second?
Who is on first?
I don't know.
Third base.
You got an outfield.
Sure.
The left fielder's name.
Why?
Just thought I'd ask
Well, I just thought I'd tell you.
you. Tell me who's playing left field.
No, who is playing first?
I'm not staying out of the infield. I want to know what the guy's name in left field is.
No. What is on second?
I'm not asking who's on second.
No, who is on first?
I don't know.
Third
Base. And the left fielder's name?
Why?
Just because.
No, he's center field.
Well, that's look. You got a pitcher?
Sure.
The pitcher's name.
Tomorrow.
You don't want to tell me today?
I'm telling you then.
Well, go ahead.
Tomorrow.
What time?
What time what?
What time tomorrow are you going to tell me who's pitching?
Now listen. Who is not pitching? Who is on?
I'll break your arm if you say who's on first. I want to know what the pitcher's name is.
What's on second?
I don't know.
Third base.
You got a catcher?
Certainly
The catcher's name.
today.
Today. And tomorrow is pitching.
Now you've got it.
Oh, we've got a couple days on the team. You know, I'm a catcher too.
So they tell me.
I get behind the plate, do some fancy catching. Tomorrow, pitching on my team, a heavy hitter gets up.
Yeah.
Now, the heavy hitter bunts the ball. When he bunts the ball, me being a good catcher, I want to throw the guy out at first base. So I pick up the ball and I throw it to who?
Now that's the first thing you said right.
I don't even know what the hell I'm talking about.
Well, that's all you have to do.
Throw the ball to first base.
Yes.
Now, who's got it?
Naturally.
Look, if I throw the ball to first base, somebody's got to get it. Now, who has it?
Naturally.
Who?
Naturally.
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 So I pick up the ball and I throw it to naturally.
No, you don't. You throw it to who?
Naturally.
That's different.
That's what I said.
You're not saying that.
I throw the ball to naturally.
You throw the ball to who?
Naturally.
That's it.
That's what I said.
Listen, you asked me.
I throw the ball to who?
Naturally.
You ask me?
You throw the ball to who?
Naturally.
That's it.
Same as you.
You just changed them around.
Same as you. I throw the ball to who? Whoever it is drops the ball. The guy runs to second base, who picks up the ball, throws it to what? What throws it to I don't know. I don't know, throws it back to tomorrow, triple play.
Yes.
Another guy gets up. It's a long fly ball to be caught. Why? I don't know. He's on third base. I don't give a darn.
Oh, what?
I said I don't give a darn.
Oh, that's our shortstop.
Very little, as a matter of fact. Some of you don't know much about me, but I've had a variety of things that I've been able to do in my life. And one of them, I don't know how they ever did that in those old movies, you know, and it's open. I never could do that. But everybody has to have a top hat if they're going to be a magician. Is that right? Right. Okay, good. But one of the things I did in my earlier days was that I also worked in engineering. And one of the first places that I worked was at a company that designed paper mills. And I learned how to make paper. And so I worked that into my magic stuff, and I found out that all I had to do was get a little bit of wool and fiber and put it in there. And would you spit, please? A little bit of water, mix it up. Let's see. I need a little bit of bleach. Let's see. I need a little bit of bleach. Here's some bleach. There we go. Got a little bit of bleach. And then what you have to do is you have to mix it all up, get it turned around, get the fibers flowing, you put it out on a screen, they suck all the water out of it, and the first thing you know, you have paper. And that paper just keeps coming and coming and coming, and you just hardly know how to stop the daggone process. I appreciate you all lending me the materials for that. And of course, everybody that does magic, they have to have a flower that they make grow. You know, you got to make the flower grow. And to do that, this flower, it looks like a butterfly if you look at it wrong. But Paul, would you open your mouth real wide and breathe on this flower? Look what he did. All right, let's try this again. Paul, breathe. Paul, you're never going to make a gardener. I was going to ask one of the Bashirs to do it, but I can't find them in the audience. So they do the garden club, don't they?
Yeah.
I don't need that. Let's see. I wish that some of the staff was here tonight. I got something for Beth. She has to collect from people to get their rents, right? And some of them are kind of hard to get the money out of, and I found a way to do it here. Just push the sleeve up like this, put it in, and there you go. See? We got some payment. Oh, well. I'm falling apart. Oh, well, we'll throw that in there. I didn't know I was going to have to wear this thing. But, you know, every magician has to have a wand, right? And all I could find, my real good wand, I can't find the thing. It's disappeared, and that's something for a magician to say. But anyway, it's a breakaway wand, and I love giving it to guys because they can't keep it up. And at any rate, I always wanted to have a fancy wand. And just a plain old black wand with a gold tip on it, that just didn't do it for me. So I decided I'd make a red wand. And that would really get me going in the magic field. Oh well, so much for that. Does anybody here have a $10 bill? I'm serious. Please? Does anybody have a $10? Look, this bag has been trained to transform money at a ratio of 1 to 10. Now, if you give me a $10 bill, I should be able to give you a $100 bill back. Needless to say, we've got somebody that likes that idea. He's looking for a 10. All right. Now, we better make sure everybody knows this thing is empty, okay? Everybody's seen this kind of stuff. Would you put that in there? Thank you very much, sir. Now, we're just going to take this thing, stir it all around like that. And would you stand up and do this, please? Would you reach in and take your bill out?
It's not in there.
What do you mean you can't find it? He's got it! Oh, smart guy! All right, well, look, do you have a $100 bill in your hand? Do you have a 100?
Yeah.
Oh, I said a ratio of 1 to 10 and it didn't work. I got 1. The other 9 went. All right, tell you what, we'll throw that back in there. Try it again. Only 10. Keep it while you're ahead. Now let's see. I think one of the things that we're concerned about on this campus is how long we're going to last. You know, whether there's any hope for us in the future or something like that. And so I want to assure you that what may seem like destruction of the body may not be as bad as it sounds like. I have here a handkerchief, which as you can see is perfectly naked on both sides. And I have here a match, and I need a volunteer up here quickly. I need a volunteer up here quickly. You only told me I had a few minutes, and I didn't know what time I got to come up here. Take the match. All right? It will not explode. I have 5 colored pens. The real bright ones have been used up. Pick any 2 colors you want, one at a time.
Any 2?
And pick a color. That one. Okay, open the pen. Put a mark on there that you can clearly identify later. Okay. Just to make sure there's no honky-ponky or hanky-panky, pick another one. Good. Now I had no way of knowing. Mark. Okay. Very good. Now, I'm going to take this match and I'm going to put it in this handkerchief. Okay? And I want you to take that match and break it. You broke. You could hear it? You could feel it?
It crunched.
It crunched. Now, folks, we have a great therapy department on this campus. And they taught me a few things. And one of the things they taught me was that if I get a massage just right, it heals anything. Right? Are you ready? You pick it up.
Wow.
Is that your match?
Yes.
Oh, let's hear it for her. There you go. She did a good job. All right. Let's see. I'm not going to do that one. I don't have any time for that. I got to do one more here because I do need to make use of my assistant here. Let's hear it for the assistant. Would you be ready to show these? And when she holds up one of these, doesn't matter which one she says, but when she holds up one, I want you all to say it in unison loudly. Can you do that for me? All right. Say it like, yes.
Yes.
Now let's faster. Yes. Okay, you got it. Now I can't even get this daggone thing open. Okay, now it's open. I made this 40 years ago. This is my woodworking skills at work. And it keeps sticking. The paint job is lousy. But what I did was to make a box that, I mean, you can't get any emptier than that. Is that right? And, you know, that's like a lot of us end up letting our lives be. We just keep using up and using up and using up. And after a while, it feels like there just isn't anything left. We're like an empty box. But then you come to a place like, what's this place?
Westminster Shores.
Oh, yeah, that was good. One more time.
Westminster Shores.
Right, and Westminster Shores can be very revitalizing to us. Because, I don't know, I got to do something about that paint or the weather, one of the two. And so, what we can do is work together here to have every one of us fill what is the ambition of every one of us, and that is to have certain qualities in our lives. That if all of us have these qualities, no matter how we think about how we got them or anything else, it will be even greater than it is now. Thinking that you would like that, please say the word
Self-control.
self-control. That empty life is getting bigger.
Humility.
Humility. Faster. Just a second, she said.
Loyalty.
And another one. Oh, my. And another one. I got to get a new one. And another one. What the heck?
Patience.
And another one.
Peace.
And
Joy.
and folks, when we all work to make sure that these are in each of our own lives and help everybody else to get each of them in their lives, it's going to be a heck of a good place around here, better than it is. Let's hear it for Westminster Shores. Last but not least, I understand, particularly after the slack speed that we had here tonight, that some people think that there should be a way to rectify things in their partner. And unfortunately, some people think that you have to do that by just being a dominant figure. And that's getting no respect anymore. All right? And so what I did was I learned how to hang my wife. And I can threaten her with being hung. She's always saying she wished I was, but never mind. At any rate, I do this because it messed it up once and it left her with an awful red rash burn on her neck. So don't tie it now. Just relax. I got 2 ropes here. You guys want to grab a hold one end and the other end, hold them and pull. I mean, are these things?
Oh, yeah.
All right, for real. So, what I told her was that if she didn't shape up, that I was going to haul off.
Which shape?
Which shape? I mean, I like your shape as it is, but we still have to improve. We have to work on improving. And so, we just, maybe I should make it even more secure. Oh, I'm sorry, honey. Okay. Now, folks, this is not going to work. This is not going to work. I'm positive. This is not going to work. There's no threat to you at all in this thing. All right, now, are you really going to behave yourself and do the things that I asked of you in this to do them better? All right, let's do this one more time. I want you to... Okay. I'm not going to...
space to do this.
Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and tie them up this way. She's used to this.
I'm sure you got the right knot.
Yeah. All right, come out here where they can all see you. Would you please be ready to catch her head if it comes off? All right. Are you ready? Now, you know that what I'm doing in love. Is that right? And even though you may feel like you're a prisoner to love, I'm going to show you and all the rest of these people that real love sets us free. Look at it. Thank you. And the lights.
some power, some brains, and some tact. Someone, in fact, like me. My daughter is marrying an idiot, as stupid as like me. And I wish she were just my own little girl again. Marriage is a sacrament that is just a way to say that a very private thing is done in a very public way. You stand among your neighbors like a lamb before the slaughter and watch some village idiot take away your daughter. The groom has got a family that sits around and gapes and wears a strange resemblance to anthropoidal apes. There's nothing to resemblance till I screwed this thing up again. Not only must you suffer, but you have to pay the bill. My daughter is marrying an idiot, the stupidest of men, and I wish she were just my own little girl